You're asked to find the characteristics of the following equation. And a couple things about this, some of them are pretty straightforward. Some of them take a little bit more math, but overall, we're just determining some very specific information so we could graph this. So first of all, midline is the k value. Boom, k value is at -5, so the midline would be at -5. Next, the maximum is just k plus the amplitude, which is 3, or the a value, or the absolute value of the a value. So -5 plus 3 is just -2. And the minimum, same thing, it's k minus the amplitude, so -5 minus 3, which is just y equals -8. And the amplitude itself is just the absolute value of the a value, which is just 3. The period, and here's where we get into a little bit of math here. So we finished 2, 3, and 4. Period is 2 pi over b. My b value here is 4. So 2 pi over 4. If I were to simplify that, I get pi over 2. So my period is just pi over 2. Now, starting point and the distance between the reference points are not really official characteristics. They're more for helping graphing. It's what I use. So starting point here is the h value is the exit, and the midline, maximum, or minimum is the y. And what tells us if it's which one of those three it is based off of the general shape of this function. Because it's a negative cosine, a negative cosine always starts at the minimum. So the other thing that we're going to do is find the h value, which is just 2 pi, because we're moving to the right 2 pi. So my starting point, x value is 2 pi, y value is the minimum, which I know is -8. So that will be my starting point if I were to graph this. And then last thing is the distance between the reference points. Basically, that's just taking the period and dividing it by 4. So pi over 2 divided by 4, which is multiplying by the reciprocal, which just gives us the distance between each of the reference points. So from the minimum to the midline, or the midline to the maximum, the x value, or the distance horizontally, would be pi over 8. These things are fairly straightforward to find if you know how to do it, but they're very helpful when you're asked to graph a trig function. So there you are.